So United are prepared to listen to offers for majority of the first team squad, bar 3 players. Yes, bar certain these 3 players, United are prepared to listen to offers for majority of the first team players. Who are these 3 players that are exempted from this? We'll be bringing you updates on this here on United Today. My name is Kwame. Thanks for joining us. Let's go for a quick turnaround. When we come back, I will unpack all of this, plus some news on Erik ten Hag, Lisandro Martinez, and some very damning statistics of our defenders that I'll be sharing with you here on United Today. Thank you very much for joining us on United Today. If this is your first time watching United Today with us, please remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. If you've been watching and you've not hit the subscribe button, please let me remind you once again. Pause the video, hit the subscribe button, and let's build this community together. We really appreciate your time with us watching all of our shows, from the United and Everything Football podcast to our Did You Know segment, to our showdown, every segment that we've put here on this channel. Thanks for patronizing. We really appreciate your time with us. So let's get straight into action. What is happening at Manchester United? So reports coming out indicates that United is willing to listen to offers for all of the first team members, or majority of the first team members, with the exception of 3 players who are seen as untouchables at Manchester United in terms of the rebuild that the new football structure is trying to, start beginning this transfer window. These players are Rasmus Højlund, Kobbie Mainoo, and Alejandro Garnacho. With the exception of these players, all other players will be up on the market, and should a suitable offer come, all these players are likely to leave Manchester United. So this is a very huge news, and it is telling everyone that no one is safe at the club at the moment. No player is safe at the club at the moment. So if a suitable offer comes, these players are likely to leave. Now, United are willing to listen to offers for Harry Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, and Christian Eriksen. Now, these players have 1 year left on their contract, and should a suitable offer come, United will be willing to part ways with them. There is also the category of players like Donny van de Beek, Jadon Sancho, Hannibal Mejbri, Mason Greenwood. All of these players who are out on loan are players that United are willing to listen to offers for. Now, Sancho is currently on loan at Borussia Dortmund. Now, Fabrizio Romano earlier on had posted a tweet stating that Borussia Dortmund will do everything they can to be able to bring back or permanently hold on to Jadon Sancho, a player they sold to United 2 seasons ago. Now, they are doing all their possible best to hold on to the player, or for the player to remain at the Signal Iduna Park. United are also willing to do business concerning Jadon Sancho. So should both clubs come into an agreement on how much the player United is willing to receive and how much Dortmund is willing to pay, it is very likely that Jadon Sancho will remain at Borussia Dortmund. And this is something that the club's hierarchy is willing to enforce. Now, on Mason Greenwood, now the Times is reporting that United will be entertaining, or the hope or the plan is to sell Mason Greenwood and send him out of the club. Sell Mason Greenwood for a fee of around 40 million. Now, the Times also further reports that if this valuation is not met, United will hold on to Mason Greenwood, and chances are that he will be integrated back into the squad. So Mason Greenwood won't leave should clubs that are in for his services do not match the fee that United is willing to take with regards to Mason Greenwood. Now, Juventus is one club that has been of interest, have had interest, or have held interest in Mason Greenwood, and they've accelerated their bid to secure Greenwood, and have already taken steps with regards to, bringing Mason Greenwood to Turin to play for Juventus. We'll see how this particular transfer, or this particular potential transfer, plays out. But it has been stated, and take note of this, that if the offer or the offers that clubs make for Greenwood does not meet the set amount that United have set for the player, it is very likely that Mason Greenwood would remain at Manchester United. Another player who has been in the news over the last couple of weeks for his performance at the club has been Marcus Rashford. Now, just last week, Rashford came and said enough is enough with regards to the abuse that he's been receiving. Rashford's form at United has been inconsistent. There are seasons he plays so well, there are seasons he drops so badly, and this season has been no exception with regards to seasons where he hasn't played very, very well. And it has drawn a lot of criticism within the fan base, some abusing, which we have totally condemned, and we feel it's not right to condemn any player, it's not right to abuse any player. Some have rightly criticized his performance, of which we think is fair. Now, David Onston of The Athletic is reporting that United's preference is to keep Marcus Rashford and help bring him back to top form. However, United will only consider a sale of Rashford if a substantial bid arrives and the player himself feels that he would better suit, or he would want to get new challenges away from Old Trafford. So these are the two conditions. Should a substantial offer come, and should Rashford decide that, okay, I've had enough, I want to move away from Old Trafford to challenge myself to new things, Rashford would remain at Manchester United. So that is the issue with regards to Marcus Rashford at Manchester United. So the bottom line is that Rashford is not an untouchable. When the amount of money the club wants for him comes and the player is willing to move, a deal will be done for Marcus Rashford to leave Manchester United. Now we have players like Bruno Fernandes, the captain of the side, Andre Onana, Diogo Dalot. For them as well, should a major offer come for them too, and the players are willing, it's the same as the Rashford situation, they are likely to leave the club as well. And there are players within the category whose contracts are expiring. For that, the club has decided not to renew their contracts. So Rafael Varane, Brandon Williams, Anthony Martial, they are expected to leave United as free agents. And there is also the players in the region of Casemiro who United are waiting for substantial offers, especially from Saudi Arabia, to arrive for Casemiro. If such offers come, United will not stand in the way of the player and would allow the player to leave. Now, the idea behind all of this is for United to be able to get flexible. They are not willing to hold on to players who wouldn't want to stay at the club and want to get creative in the market, because there are lots of things holding on to the club at the moment in terms of its spending power in getting players in. So United are trying to get a lot more creative. So Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox, who will be handling all of these situations when Omar Barada joins Wilcox. Remember, Wilcox has already started work. So they are becoming very open-minded and very conscious of the fact that they need to refresh the squad. This United squad has been a squad that has been built by different coaches with different styles of play. And it's becoming very difficult for the club to get an identity in terms of the style of play. So they are willing to refresh the squad and be able to build a squad which suits the kind of football model or the game model that they want to implement at the club. So all these players, except these three young men, are all on the market for the right price. So if the right price comes, these players are likely to leave the club. And also remember, Simon Stone is also reporting that Erik ten Hag is due to hold substantive talks with Jason Wilcox this week and see the state of the squad and the problems he's facing. We don't play until next Monday, and so I'm sure there will be enough time for Jason Wilcox and Eric Ten Hag to meet and have some discussions with regards to the squad and all of that. So Simon further, talk about United and when we can really flex our muscles in terms of the transfers, because remember, we are held by FFP. Our lack of qualification in the Champions League have all led to factors crippling the club in terms of having the spending power. We don't expect United to spend a region of 80 to 90 million for a single player in the next few windows. United will try as much as possible to be creative in getting players in various forms or in various fashions to be able to get these players to come in and play for the club. So these are some of the issues that we are expecting with regards to the transfer. So all the players, or majority of the first team players are up for sale at the right price. So if you see United selling Bruno Fernandes at the right price, it means the club, just know it's possible that all of these players can leave the club at one point in time, but I'm not sure it's going to be that a drastic approach. It depends on the timing, the kind of offer, the players' willingness to leave, and all of that. All of these things are going to factor in the process. So that's it with regards to United and the transfers. Now let's quickly switch to Scott McTominay, who's been injured, or who got injured in the game against Burnley. Remember, he twisted his knee, and we feared the worst, but McTominay has come to allay our fears that it's not as serious as he felt after the scan was conducted. Initially, it was thought that this injury was going to really affect Scott McTominay. It looks as if it's not as bad as we all thought it would be. So Scott McTominay has posted on Instagram saying that it's not as bad as we all felt it is, and that he'll be willing to join the club join the first team very soon on that. And also, I have some very interesting stats to show you with regards to the defenders at the club, their injury record, and how long some of these players have been away from the first team in 2 seasons. In 2 seasons, Tyrell Malacia has missed 47 games. Lisandro Martinez has missed 35 games. Luke Shaw has missed 32 games. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has missed 29 games. Varane has missed 26 games. Lindelof 21, Maguire 13, and then Diogo Dalot 6. Now, this is our back line. These are the players in our defensive line, and this is the number of games they've missed. How can a club at this level, at the top level, miss these number of players or miss these players in this number of games? And how do you expect us to compete? That is why it's become imperative that the club overhauls the whole defensive structure. And that is why it has become very clear and apparent that the club needs a left back as quickly as possible, because it's looking as if Luke Shaw can be trusted, and whatever Malacia is going through looks like a serious one. And we don't know if he will come back the same, because when players go out long on injuries for this length of time, it becomes very interesting whether they can come back to themselves. So this is why the club is going into the market for a left back as quickly as possible, because the situation can't continue like this. The whole defensive structure needs an overhaul. That is why we are going in for a left centre back, a right centre back, and if the window permits, United is likely to get another right back after they've sold probably Aaron Wan-Bissaka, or a decent deal has come for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So that's it. It's very damning. Not good for a club at the stature, in the stature of Manchester United, where you have to lose your defenders for these number of games. It's so crazy. It's insane. And that needs to be corrected as quickly as possible. Well, so that's how I end today's edition of United Today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for hitting the notification We have a lot more to come your way in the subsequent days. All the breaking news we'll be bringing to you here on United Today. Thanks for joining. Remember to watch the previous episode of our podcast. We had a very insightful analysis on Erik ten Hag, the whole team, and issues surrounding the team, Marcus Rashford's abuse and all of that. Please remember to go and then watch the podcast. Very insightful discussions with my friends on this channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time.